What's happening, people? Hope you're well. Big up to everyone that has joined us nice and early. Welcome. 12th man is back. The Arsenal roundabout is back. I've got an elite panel. You all know them very, very well. It's Kenny Ken, it's Tossing, it's Igal, and it's Premsy, and it's myself. And we're going to talk all things Arsenal. There's a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about Eddie Nketiah. We're going to talk about Aaron Ramsdale. We're going to talk a little bit about Jacob Kivior. We're also going to be talking about Merino and what that fee is all about. Breaking news keeps coming in about all teams. It's going to be 10 days of absolute madness, in my opinion, and we're going to break it down. We are not just going to talk transfers because the season has kicked off. We're also going to talk about the Aston Villa game and what we think is going to happen in relation to team news for that game. So let's get into it, man. Igal, let's start with you. The reason I'm starting with you, Igal, is because as soon as I come on here trying to set things up, you and Kenny are at it already. So I thought, let's just go live and let's just see what's been happening. I've clearly missed something on Twitter. I don't know what's been going on, but Kenny ain't having it. Kenny ain't happy. Kenny ain't having it. And Igal has been tweeting out madness again, apparently. So would you like to explain, Igal, what happened?
I don't think I'm tweeting out madness. First of all, I had a bunch of people telling me that why are we getting another goalkeeper? After selling Aaron Ramsdale, we should just go and spend all that money on a striker. Not understanding that we need to have a backup prepared in the case that something happens to Raya. So you have to have an adequate backup. And simply put, my response to these people were, what was it? I said high standards FC. Where is it? Let me find it. Something about high standards FC. And I think that really might have triggered Kenny. But my main point was about them being enemies of progress, basically still criticizing, even though they can see that this is a reasonable reason to go get another goalkeeper.
What is it progress then? Selling Rams?
My exact point was some Arsenal fans claim to be have high standards, but they're genuinely enemies of progress. That's it.
What does it mean, though? Enemies of progress? I don't get what you mean.
Enemies of progress, for example, wanting the manager sacked, even though we've continuously seen massive improvements, season after season, saying that Raya is not an improvement on Ramsdale when we can visibly see he's an improvement on Ramsdale, and criticizing signing Raya and getting another keeper, and crying about a striker as if a striker is going to be the replacement for Aaron Ramsdale. You still need to replace Ramsdale with an adequate goalkeeper. But yet people are sitting here crying, saying, oh, it's a stupid move. I think it's a good move. You need to get his 120K a week off the wage bill. If he's not going to stay and fight for his place, you replace him with somebody on cheaper wages, and you can use half the transfer money to go invest that into a striker.
Okay, Kenny, I'll let you come in, man, because obviously you brought it up, so I'll let you come in.
Well, Igal's got he's got previous for some of his tweets.
Yeah, that don't sound good, Kenny.
Previous he's always right at all times, even when he's wrong. But that's what debate is about. And he tries to shut down the debate when he uses terms like enemies of progress, because that was his theme towards the end of the last season when it was becoming pretty clear that we were going to finish second. And he knew there was going to be an avalanche of disappointment and criticism towards Mikel Arteta. So he had a litany and bullet points of all the things that we've done really well. Mikel Arteta came to the football club, and he used that as a shield of defence. It was like on a battlefield, or it was like a right situation, at Tottenham Rights, where he's a copper with the bat and shield, and we're all the ones saying he didn't do this. He went, oh yeah, the most goals since. Started the Premiership, the most points at the start of the Premiership, even though we got 90 when we did the Invincibles, but I'll let you off that one because it's only a point you're at anyway. There's all these sort of things. And my currency is, I agree with a lot of what you said, but the fact is, the reason why people like myself are asking the question, especially this season, and we are going to be making these demands this season, is because despite all of that, we still haven't delivered real success. Despite the fact that you talk about the progress of our players and how, they're in the 5 of our players getting to the PFA Team of the Year, unless this manager gets some sort of success, unless these players get some sort of success, then they're always going to be compared to the players of yesteryear, because these guys actually brought genuine success and they competed genuinely with Man United. Who I regard as the best Premiership team I'm ever going to see. I still regard Alex Ferguson a better manager than Pep. Also, the reason why a lot of fans are looking romantically to Unai Emery, it's not about Unai Emery's time at Arsenal. That's the problem. Whenever Unai gets mentioned, see his face now, he gets triggered. No one's talking about Unai at Arsenal. What they're saying is that the guy's got pedigree and he's won. Every club he went to, he's won, except for us, where he wasn't given time. That seems to be a problem for you, Igal, and people like yourself. You think that we're comparing Mick Arteta to Unai Emery, but until Mick Arteta wins these trophies, that you feel that the progress sort of merits, then that's always going to be a comparison. People like myself always going to say, I need to see silverware. This season, we need to attack every trophy. I don't want to be in a debate with you, and I'm assuming we're going to be going, basically blade for blade, sword for sword, during this season. I don't want to be in a situation where you're going to be telling me, oh, it's only a League Cup. It's only a FA Cup. No, we haven't got a squad to compete.
I don't do that, to be fair.
I never said you're going to say that, but I don't want that situation, because I do think with all the bullet points of attributes that you talk about a club, and you've got a bit of a point. I want trophies. This team needs trophies. These players need winners' medals around their necks in order to be able to say to me, Ken, shut your mouth. You're full of crap. You're moany. You're old.
I wouldn't say that.
Don't shut me up. But at the end of the day, that's what successful teams do. They win trophies. Don't want to be like Newcastle, who've won nothing. But under Kevin Keane, they played great football. Under Boy Wrestling, they played great football. Won nothing.
Guess what?
Won nothing.
Unai Emery, this Unai Emery Arteta conversation needs to be put to bed. First of all, Unai Emery at a top club has not shown that he can do anything successful.
What did he win at PSG? At PSG, he won trophies. He
got us to the European final.
You could put any of us as the PSG manager. We'll get a job done.
Really?
Let's believe.
You said he didn't do it at a big club. Well, winning the league in France,
he failed. He technically failed at PSG. He was one of the.
How did he technically fail? Which PSG managers won a European club?
Let me rewind. You guys remember?
Please do.
4-1 up versus Barcelona. 4-1 up versus Barcelona, the most historic, biggest collapse in Thai history, where Barcelona came back from that deficit. That right there lost him his job. At Arsenal, not only did he was in the top four, perfectly had it. He was in a FA Cup final versus a Chelsea team that was having problems. Players were literally fighting each other, and he collapsed. So, and when we're talking about managers right now, if anybody sits here with a straight face and says Arteta is not a better tactical manager and more clubs in Europe, like the Bayerns, like the PSGs, like the Barcelonas, wouldn't go for him over Unai Emery, that is one second. We're having two different arguments. I'm letting you know where my point is.
I hear you saying it.
And then you can go. Simply put, I'm not arguing his CV. I'm not saying Unai Emery doesn't have a great CV. And historically, based on the two managers, what they've accomplished, he's accomplished more. He's a more successful manager, but Arteta right now is a better manager. If any club was in Europe, across Europe, wanted a top manager, they would rather go for Arteta over Unai Emery. Unless you're a small club, then you'll go for Unai Emery, because he can be an overachiever at a small club. Where Arteta, he's built for managing at the top level. What he's done at Arsenal, you got to give him a lot of credit. And historically, the amount of games that he's won, even with our bad records where we finished 8th and 8th, he's up there with the top points tally in Premier League history, up there with some of the best. When you look at first to get to 100 wins. So it's not. We can't just sit here and act like he's a nobody. Like he's nothing. Right now, as much as you don't like it, forget about CV. Arteta is a better manager at this moment in time than Antonio Conte, than Jose Mourinho, than Unai Emery, than all these dinosaurs that you keep mentioning.
Okay. If you finish now, that's it. That's good points. Good talk. Good script. And I nearly fell for it, but Spurs under Michel Pochettino, there's a period when Spurs got the most Premiership points than any other club, including Man City. What they win? See that little space between my finger? See that? Nothing. What about where's that little space between my finger? The same attributes that you attributed to Arteta, that's the same attributes that were attributed to Tottenham. The fact is, at the moment, let me finish, because you said the same to me. At the moment, Mick Arteta is doing a good job, But at the moment, it's like a spaghetti bolognese without the minced beef, i.e., no trophies. And that's all I asked for. Thank you.
So if you're asking for trophies, why didn't you demand trophies from Unai Emery, the
I
guy
did.
who was at
I
our
did.
club,
I did.
at our club and failed
I did.
dramatically?
I don't know if you know I did, because I was on podcasting for you.
Bro,
Because I've
I was
known
with you.
5 years.
We
I
were
did
both
my best.
celebrating on Sunny TV when he got sacked. The thing is, why are we changing and revisiting this right now? At this moment in time, Arteta is a better manager than Unai Emery tactically, and what he's been able to do shows you that he's more equipped at the top level. Where at Arsenal, Unai Emery couldn't even keep guys like Ainsley Maitland-Niles from bantering him, saying good evening behind his back in the dressing room. You can't have somebody like that.
Is that it? Is that it? Oh, really? So he gets battered by, and that makes him a bad manager because he got battered. How many managers get? I mean, you go for podcasts. You got ex not the FLYS players mimicking Brian Clough. What's the ain't?
No, but what's your point?
I'm just saying. All I'm saying, right, is that.
Are you saying your players not mock?
The reason why this brought it up is because there was like an exchange on another channel that Dan goes on, and that point was brought up by one of the the interviewee, and brought it up to the interviewer, and that's why it's been a talking point this weekend. And again, you commented on it. You did, because I've got the evidence about it. So
Ras. Yo, Kenny,
I brought it up, Pigel, because because now whenever I debate with you, I always have to have a backup plan on all your crimes against, like football, I say podcasts, all your crimes. I've got a list, got a black book of all your crimes. So that's why I came out with that. I didn't do it just to cause a bit of ruck. I just wanted to start the debate off.
All right.
Do you know what? Right. Let me say this, and I'll bring Tosin and Prems in on this. Let's just do this debate, and then we can move. For me, Unai Emery's CV leaves Arteta's dead in the water. That's just factual, right? Mikel Arteta has not won 4 Europa Leagues with 3 different clubs now? 3 different clubs, right? Anyway, for me, I think Unai Emery at Arsenal, it was a completely different regime. It was a different structure, and he was not backed. When he wanted Zaha, he was given Pepe. When he wanted Upamecano, he was given David Luiz. When he wanted Thomas Partey, he was given Dani Ceballos. So we cannot compare the 2 regimes. The Cronkies didn't have total ownership of the club, so it's very, very difficult to say that Unai Emery would have done a worse job with the right backing and the right structure that Mikel Arteta has got. Because you can't say Mikel Arteta has not been backed. He's been given everything that he wants. So for me, it's very difficult to compare his regime with Mikel Arteta's regime. What I do think it is fair to say, when Arsenal fans say to me, what Mikel Arteta is doing right now at Arsenal is what Arsenal needs, and Unai Emery, it was not working. That's fair to say. But to say that he's a better manager, I think we need to see more, Igal. I've got to say that. I think we've got to see more.
Dan, this is my point. At this moment in time, Bayern Munich were looking for a manager. They didn't reach out to Aston Villa to ask for Unai Emery. They were reaching out to Arsenal to ask for permission to speak to Arteta.
Were they?
Yeah. PSG.
When?
PSG.
When was that? When was that?
I can go find the article for you. I can go find it. I'll tell you right now. But as for PSG, you've seen the links to PSG. When Xavi said he's resigning, immediately, what was the first person they spoke about? Arteta. Arteta at this moment in time is the new kid on the block. And a lot of the people who are judging him based on trophies realize you're comparing him to a guy who was started managing when Arteta was still at PSG as a football player. So the comparison is ridiculous in the first place. We're not comparing trophies. We're comparing right now, which manager would you rather have tactically take over your football club? And I think majority of top football clubs would view Arteta as an asset that would come into the team and improve them, where Unai Emery, similar to how we viewed him, they would view him as a Europa League manager, a Europa League specialist, a cup specialist, somebody who can come in and maybe win you one of those cups. And he's probably better off in those smaller teams than he would be at Arsenal. Why didn't Liverpool speak to him? Why didn't Man United speak about him? Why didn't Chelsea look at him? The guy literally got top 4 with Aston Villa, and none of these top clubs even considered him. So why are we talking about Arteta, all this smoke, but Unai Emery, who's at Aston Villa and would have jumped ship to Liverpool or Chelsea, they don't even give him a call. Stop it, guys.
Do you know what, Egal? What we need to do is bloody beat him then at the weekend, because we can't seem to do that at the moment. We've done it once out of the 5 times that we faced him. He's beaten us the other times, so we need to stop looking silly and actually beat the guy that we sacked. That's my opinion. Tossin, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I firstly agree with what you say. I think we just got to stuff. We got to stuff this whole. We got to nip it in the bud. The only way you nip that stuff in the bud is by beating them. I think if we beat them last season, I think if we beat it, and both games last season, we were. I personally think we were the better team. I think we just ran out of steam that game at the Emirates. If we beat them both games, people will still be talking, but it won't be as loud. Personally, for me, I think it's a pointless debate. I think it's so stupid because, yes, Unai Emery has won the Europa League 4 times, but let's be honest, he lacks the persona, the mindset, the mentality to thrive at a big club. Yes, he won trophies at PSG, but it's different. People talk about, oh yeah, Kroenke's. We don't talk about what Arteta's personally done to actually transform the club. Yes, the Kroenke's fully taken over. That's helped. He's been back, but let's look at the facts. Every single player that Arteta has brought, the team he's built, what do they always talk about? They talk about the impact he's had on their career. They talk about the way he trains, the way he teaches, the way he raises them up. So you didn't really see that with Unai Emery. And if we want to talk this trophies chat, then well, I may as well just say Jose Luis Mendilibar. He's better than Arteta because he's won Europa League. Do you guys know who that is?
Bro, none of these guys mentioned Ten Hag as being better than Arteta.
Do you know who that is? Okay,
right.
Then let's just bring in Juande Ramos. Why not? Let's bring him in then. Yeah, he's better than Arteta. He's won trophies. Okay, so cool. I think it's such a stupid debate because why do you have to pit the two against each other? Emery's a good manager, but it's quite clear when he came to Arsenal, he just was not a good fit. He lacked the vision, the mentality to take Arsenal. Let's just be honest, back him all you want. There's no way Unai Emery does what Arteta's done. The guy's literally transformed the club. He's turned us into a banter era club, into actual legit title challenges. This is not just about buying players and being back. Because look at Chelsea, look at Man United. Ten Hag has been backed. He's been given money. Chelsea's manager's been given money, but it's so much more than that when it comes to building a club. Even you look at Pep. Pep has been backed, but are you really going to look at Man City and say, oh yeah, it's just because they just throw money? No, the club is well run, and that the manager sets the tone for that. The way he trains, the way he gets his team going, like this is not just like, oh yeah, it's just the owners, it's the right structure. No, the manager has a big part to play in that. So I think there's no way Unai Emery is doing that at Arsenal. That's why he got sacked. So I think it's just it's such a pointless debate. Oh yeah, Emery, it's just stop it. He failed at Arsenal. Yeah, great. He's won all the trophies, but how can you say a guy he would have done, bro, he was at Arsenal and he failed. Just accept it. Why? Like, I think they just use it. It's lazy analysis, basically, just to try and beat Arteta with a dead stick. I'm trying to remember the phrase. I can't remember the phrase, but it's pointless. It's lazy analysis. Yes, Arteta needs to win a trophy, but you should not bring Emery into the conversation. Let that be just a separate conversation itself. Arteta and this team need to deliver. We don't need to be dragging up this Unai Emery, because if he comes to Arsenal right now with this structure, I promise you, there's no way we're doing what we're doing now. No way.
Interesting, man. Prems, let me bring these 2 super chats in, then come to yourself. Big up to Love Alexander, man. Absolute legend. Bring up for this chat as well. Super chat says, respectfully, Arteta bottled top 4 and finished second twice. Winning is all that matters. Unai Emery has won trophies and continued to beat us. Aston Villa was terrible, and now look, shake my head. What are you saying about this one, Prems, lastly, before we move? You there, Prems? Or have you frozen?
I think
he's frozen. Yeah, he said his internet was dodgy.
Let me just quickly.
Go on.
Can I just look? I'm just looking at the league table. The times Unai Emery won in Sevilla. So he won it in 2014. They finished 5th. He won it in 2015. Let's see where they finished. Finished 5th. Won it in 2016. Let's see where they finished. Finished 7th.
Is that an elite club mentality?
Finished 7th. Okay, great. He has won the Europa League. Great. Like, I'm not trying to be down on him. That's an amazing achievement. Even I would say, arguably with Villarreal landing them their first trophy ever, that's a huge achievement. Amazing.
Massive.
But
Yeah.
bruv, Jose Luis Mendilibar, do you know who that is? This guy is a robbed manager, and he won the Europa League. Are we now really going to say, oh yeah, he's better than Arteta because he's won a trophy? Come on. Like,
Premsy, I don't know if you can hear, man, because obviously you
Yeah, I
cut
can hear
out.
you. Sorry,
but,
yo. Yeah, I
can hear.
do
No, it's all good, man.
apologize.
Like, when
I
is
had go on, sorry.
crazy?
Go.
No,
Nice.
sorry,
Go on, Brent. Go on,
No,
Premsy.
I had a new internet installed, yeah, and it's absolutely dead. I need to go back and get it. I swear to God, 14-day cooling off period. Mate, I'm telling you, it's been pissing me off anyway. But yeah, you know what? I think there's an argument for and against. You know, I'll be totally honest about it. Look, if you're having it right, if you look at Emery's CV compared to Arteta's, is obviously more decorated, and it's going to be he's been in management a lot longer as well in it. So we've got to take that into account. And he is for me, Emery's a top class manager. But if you ask me to swap Emery for Arteta now, I wouldn't do it because I do believe, and I am going to say I think we will win the league this year, and I'm hoping and praying that we can because we've come so close now as an Arsenal fan. If you ain't got that hope now, yeah, then fuck knows, I don't know. But look, obviously, if we don't do well, I'm going to be calling it out, innit? If we don't go and challenge on all fronts, I'm going to be calling it out. But I'm putting some hope and belief into Arteta now because I have seen things from him over these few years which have changed my mind on him and made me think, you know what, maybe he can get us over the line. You get me? But when it comes to, if you're looking at comparing Arteta to Emery right now and you're looking at their CVs, there's really no comparison in it. But it's just a bit of a mad argument because of obviously how long Arteta's been in the job himself. But look, Emery came to Arsenal. I think a lot was against him, like you said, Dan. I think you summed it up perfectly, really. I think a lot was against him. I think if you put Emery into a stable Arsenal now, who knows what he could do? Look what he's done in such a short space of time at Aston Villa. He's got them back in the Champions League. And look, he even got us to a European final. You know what I mean? The team that we won the FA Cup with was more or less his team. So you got to take your hat off to him, innit?
I agree, and I think sometimes it's a bit disrespectful. I think people are like, Emery, the wash match, you got to get him out of my. And I was like, hang on a minute, this guy ain't bad. This guy ain't bad, right? It's like we're comparing him with Roberto Di Matteo because he won a Champions League or something. Like for me, it's like nowhere near that level. So I think Emery is top class. I actually think the argument between Yardman and Robbie, I think both of them were actually a bit misunderstood what each other was saying. That's my honest opinion. I think the question was completely different to how Robbie answered it, and I think what Yardman brought up was completely wrong to how Robbie reacted to it. That's my honest opinion. I was there right in front of me waiting for my do my fan cam, and I was like, both of you have misunderstood what each other's saying. Like Yardman was just bigging up Emery, saying that he thinks he's the best after Pep, and Robbie was saying, what, you think he's perfect for Arsenal? Yardman didn't say he was perfect for Arsenal, and Robbie didn't say that he was rubbish. So for me, I thought it was a little bit misunderstood from both. But let's talk about what we need. Kenny, I'll start with you.
Ten Hag or Arteta?
Arteta every day.
But Ten Hag's
I can't stand Ten Hag, man. I can't stand Ten Hag.
But Ten Hag's won more trophies.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He's won 2 trophies in 2 years. So yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. I wouldn't have Ten Hag near Arsenal, man. I don't know what he's doing at United. He's awful, mate. Absolutely awful. But yeah, that's a good one, Tosin. That should have been the question, not Emery. But listen, let's move. Kenny, players coming out of Arsenal, it seems. Players coming in at Arsenal. It's quite busy this last 24 hours, man, it seems. Ramsdale looks to be coming out. Eddie Nketiah potentially on his way to Forest. And Mikel Merino on his way in. It has been slow, bruv. I cannot lie to you. Edu is going at snail's pace, in my opinion. But it looks like Merino could be coming in. And it looks like the president is flying to London to sort this out. Now, I think that is a good signing. I think Calafiori is a good signing. But I need to see an attacker after this, Kenny. Otherwise, I'm going to feel a little deflated by the end of the window, right? I don't know that we're going to get one, but I'm going to ask you if you have faith that we can pull something off in the last 10 days. How are you seeing this window in the last part, I would say, in 10 days' time? Are we going to be happy gooners, Kenny?
Well, whatever happens, we're still going to have to challenge because I think the team has got enough experience, regardless whether we get a striker or not, or regardless of which players we get.
Mm.
You've got 3 years experience now. You know what it takes to win the title. You know what happens in the championship rounds. You're going to have to find a way to bridge that kind of gap with Man City. The gap that Man City have with us is, let's face it, was Erling Haaland. 66 appearances, 63 goals in the league. Ultimately, that's what won them the league. So if we don't get the striker, we still got to find a way. I don't think we're going to get a striker personally, because I think the priority is going to be the outgoings. We're talking about Merino, and I think that's probably going to be it. I think there's a situation with in the midfield where I've got really big concerns about Thomas Partey, because I looked at his performance this weekend. All right, it's the first game of the season. We're all going to be rusty. He wasn't the worst player, but if we're getting Merino, it's what it looks like to me is that, midfield of Merino and number 8, Declan Rice going back to number 6, and Odegaard. Where does Thomas play? I can't. He's probably going to have to fight for his place. So in that respect, I think Merino deal was definitely going to happen. All they've got to do is just dot the I's, make some concessions on the asking price, and he's gone. The guy's already agreed personal terms. He's already been left out. He's cutting all Arsenal. In terms of other business, I see more outgoings. I really do. Eddie Nketiah, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest are looking at him. I mean, Chris Wood and Mateta must be quaking their boots at the thought of Eddie coming to play for him. They must be really perturbed by that. But that's just that's what I've been seeing on Sky Sports. And then Aaron Ramsdale itself, Wolves are interested. I don't know whether he's going to fight for his place or get the number 1 shot. But again, that is going to be paramount for the football club, because I do think that with PSR, with the money we spent last season, I think it's having an effect on this season. We really need to, clear the decks. Aaron Ramsdale, 120 grand a week. Eddie Nketiah, 100 grand a week. Both players. Aaron Ramsdale's now really like a number 2. You need to try and get those wages off, because backup players are the hardest players to get out of the football club. If you've got an asset, then you can actually name your price, and that asset 9 or 10 times is going to increase their wages. Aaron Ramsdale, 120 grand a week, going to Wolves. Whether Arsenal want a permanent deal as well. Who at Wolves earns 120 grand a week, and number 2 as well. But that's not my problem. Arsenal need to make that happen. Eddie Nketiah, again, not a problem about the money that he's on. Find a way to see if he can accept a deal, get these guys out, and then who knows? Maybe we can have the Mesut Ozil situation we had about 11 years ago, where last minute we got him in, but can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. Really can't, because running out of time, and the manager seems to be satisfied with what he's got up front.
Yeah, he does, and he plays his class close to his chest, Gal. I don't know what you think is going to happen in the 10 days that we have left, but I'll ask you this question. What is the window going to look like for Arsenal once it shuts, in your opinion, bro, in terms of outgoings and incomings? Go on, Gal.
We're going to get Mikel Merino. That's pretty much done. We just need to be patient. They're going to get a deal sorted out. I think we're getting drip-fed information that's behind. The player has already pretty much said goodbye to his people, and we've seen he hasn't dressed up for a single game yet. So I do think that's going to get done. Eddie Nketiah is going to be gone. Ramsdale's going to be gone. We're going to go get another goalkeeper, and it's going to make Arsenal fans melt down, because we have signed another defender, even though we need him. So that's going to be 2 signings. And then I think the third one is going to be an attacker. I just don't know if we're going to get a striker or a winger yet. Honestly, it's literally depends on who leaves. If we end up getting a 60 million or 45 or something crazy for for Jesus on the final day from Saudi, you're telling me the club wouldn't consider that? And then immediately we can go flip that, and because that would be a possibility. And I'm just waiting to see who leaves, because Ramsdale leaving, Eddie Nketiah leaving, Reece Nelson leaving, that 100% opens the door for a big attacker to come in. And the only attackers I could think of is either Gyökeres, then the other option would probably be Nico Williams. Just go tell him, here's the money, release clause. You can't do shit. The player wants to come, even though he said he might want to stay. And then the other one would be Eze. Go to Crystal Palace, drop the money for Eze.
You know his release clause expired now, yeah?
Yeah, but if they're willing to sell the player in the summer, who? Nico Williams.
No, Eze.
Oh, I didn't know Eze's release clause expired, but maybe they would still consider selling him. And by the way, anybody saying you're deluded for thinking Jesus to Saudi have been interested in Jesus. We have heard previous links about that. So there could be a possibility if Saudi's gonna come in for any of our players, it's gonna be the guy who's Brazilian who formerly played at Man City. I don't think they're gonna come in for anybody else.
You know, I agree with that. I don't know if that is going to happen, but of course there is a possibility that can always be the case. I personally, I mean, Tosin, I'll come to you because I see you screwed your face when he went to Victor Gyökeres. I personally don't mind the Gyökeres signing, but you're not a fan, no?
I think at this stage, it's unproven. I mean, we've been getting linked to this guy for ages. I'm pretty sure if he was someone that we were really serious about, we would have gotten him by now. But for some reason, we haven't. So that rings alarm bells for me. It's different to Benjamin Šeško because in the Euros, yeah, he wasn't the greatest in the Euros, but you could see this was a guy Arsenal were pushing for. And I'm like, okay, cool, I can get behind it. Clearly, we see something in the player. He's got a good goal record in Bundesliga. Get him. But Gyökeres, I know he's scoring bucket loads of goals in Portugal, but he's scoring bucket loads of goals in Portugal. Why is no one going for him? So that's what makes me a bit iffy. And plus, I think, if anything, we should focus on getting a winger. If we're going to buy an attacker, I don't see us getting. I would love a striker and a winger, but I just think the nature of the market now is difficult because a lot of people are forgetting about PSR rules. Generally, transfer spending has been quite slow across all clubs, right? So I get the feeling that we are waiting for outgoings to go first till we actually start making some major moves. But it's difficult. It's not as straightforward as fans are making it. It's not like FM where you just go and do it. Like there's clearly something holding these deals up. I don't know what it is, but there's clearly something. But yeah, I would love a striking winger, but I just don't know enough. I don't think that's gonna happen.
What striker though? Tony?
I would have gone for him, to be honest. I would have gone for Ivan Tony.
I would
I've
have
been
as well.
saying it. If Šeško would have been the first priority. But he made it. It was very, very clear from early in the window that he didn't want to come. He renewed his contract. I would have gone for Ivan Tony.
Can I say one thing? I don't think we want Tony because usually
personality.
Usually, if Arteta wants somebody, he's gonna speak to them after the game and be friendly. Ivan Tony after the Brentford game. I think Dan, you were there too. I don't know if you were there, Premsy or Kenny or
there.
Arteta literally just walked up to him, shook his hand, and kept him moving. Like he didn't even look at him twice. Where when Declan Rice, before we signed him, you seen Arteta literally cuddling him after the game. So I do think those little things.
Yeah.
No, you do have a point in that. That is true. I've clocked that a few times, to be fair.
Yeah. Apparently, it's something about his personality or something. But even still, I don't mind. I'll bring in Tony. Like a guy like Tony, he changes the game for us. You know, he's a target man. He's a focal point. He's good with the ball to feet. He links up well, and he's available for what's he going for? 50 M's?
Yeah.
50. I would actually approach Brentford and even try to go like 45.
Eddie,
40.
I'd swap Eddie. Give Eddie a little bit of peas on top.
I would
guys, call me crazy. If we go to Brentford, we're gonna end up with Mbwaba. That's what's gonna happen.
He's good though. I'll take him, bro.
He's good.
You know what? All I know is we definitely need a striker, and I'm willing to take a risk on anyone. Really, I'll be honest with you. Like even that Gyökeres or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but you know what it is. I just think. Look at Bruno Fernandes. He was in that league. He came to United and he pulled up good numbers. So sometimes you got to take a risk on some players, and it's not always going to work out. But I believe that a striker is a must, and I've been saying that for about 3 years. And the reason I say that because I believe Jesus can play on the right, cover for Saka. There's the cover sorted, and you got Trossard and Martinelli on the left. We had a striker up front, somebody that can add 15, 20 goals a season to us, probably more end on the 20. We're winning the league. So I think
what if we get Nico Williams?
He's not a striker.
Yeah, I want a striker more. I would rather a striker than a winger. If we get him, I'll take anybody in the forward line because we need more forwards. However, in my opinion and what I think we need is a striker.
I don't think he's going to get a striker.
I think we just need more match winners. people who can change the game and get us and have strong impact. It doesn't necessarily have to be a striker. Although I agree, getting a striker would be great, but I don't think we're gonna go get a striker. I think we're just gonna get somebody who can make an impact anywhere across that front three. It could be a right winger, it could be a left winger, but whichever signing it is, it's gonna be someone who can contribute. I don't want no matter.
If we got a striker with presence, it would give us that different option because, for example, if Havertz wasn't up front, we have nobody other than Havertz that gives us a bit of an aerial ability. Like, for example, when Saka whipped that ball in, Havertz was onto it. Like, if we had another striker, sometimes Arteta likes to drop Havertz into the midfield. We could still have that weapon of still be able to put balls in the box with a Havertz in midfield. So it does give us something different.
But Premzi, I think Jesus would have to be sold, or something big like that will have to happen for this to be done. And the only reason why I say that,
because we need cover for Saka and Jesus.
The only reason why I'm saying this is because Jesus leaving would be a big money sale, which could open the door for somebody who comes into this team off that kind of wages. I don't think if we sell Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, even get Ramsey out, we're gonna go drop big money on Gyökeres and now have Jesus, Gyökeres, and Havertz in the same team.
Yeah, but I'm Tony's cheaper though. Another thing is that I hear what you're saying, but last 2 seasons, what made a difference was Man City striker. There was fine margins, especially last season.
I agree.
You look at the game against Spurs, the game against Tottenham. Forget about all this, all this thing that me and you have beef about. The game itself, the guy who made that difference has got both the goals that cemented their title win was Erling Haaland. He made that difference that day. And all I'm saying is that when we talk about fine margins, you can't. Maybe if we had someone like Erling Haaland, we will win the league. Yeah, we got 91 goals, but they got 96.
Can I say something though? I feel like, do we know our strength, boys? Like, we know our strength is defensively. Our team strength is defensive. I know we scored a lot of goals last season. We need to improve on our attack. I hear you 100%.
Defenses and set pieces.
But defending is our strength. Man City's strength is their attack. If you're going to try to beat your opponent, you need to know your opponent. You need to know what their strengths.
You got to have to win the league, bro. You need strength all the way throughout.
Yeah, I understand that, but also, when you're elite at something, you want to lean into that. You want to use that as your tool to win. If you have a strength, you want to utilize that strength in how you win. And I think this season they're going to lean on the defense to help us win that league more than ever before. And that's why he has the likes of Timber and then signed Calafiori and also still have Zinchenko as an option against some of the smaller teams. As much as we talk about the attack, I don't think the attack is what's going to win us.
He's defense
that's going to win us this league.
Also, I mean, we're making the point. I think it's a fair point that Ken made about the Erling Haaland. But if you actually look at Man City, even the past 2 seasons, the difference makers, squeaky bum time, Gundogan 2 seasons ago, last season Foden. So I mean, like, the striker does make a difference. But then again, you could also say, well, but like for Man City to even be in that position, they needed Haaland's goals. So fair enough. But I'm just
saying, there's another thing as well. Everyone talks about defense, and it was out of this world. But City, they weren't that far. We weren't that far ahead of the goals conceded as well. City, they got a few clean sheets in the business end of those seasons as well, especially Fulham away. Didn't concede against Fulham away.
Yeah, but they had teams like Tottenham.
I hear what you're saying, but I just think ultimately it was, when you look at the nitty gritty and those 2 points, it was actually Haaland and his goals that got them over the line when you think about it in real terms, because defensively I think City improved and they were a bit stingy, and I think if you look at them this season, I think that they got defensive reinforcements and they're looking a bit stingy defensively as well.
Yeah, that I agree with.
Do you think that Arsenal have done enough with Merino and Calafiori to improve on the next season and win the league without an attacker?
Bro, whatever we do, as long as we don't sign a striker, it's going to be short based on the opinion going into the summer. No one expected Kai Havertz to be the main striker going into this season, if I'm not wrong. even myself, I thought we were gonna go get a big striker, and that doesn't seem the way that they're looking at it. They're looking at Kai Havertz as that potential striker, that number 9 that's gonna be there. And I do think we're gonna potentially be left short if we don't sign an attacker. At this moment in time, based on Merino and Calafiori, we're short. If we go and get an attacker coming in, and when I say attacker, I need somebody who can make a difference. Leroy, even though I don't think it's gonna happen, Leroy Sané, we've been linked to him. What do you call it? This guy Nico Williams, we've been linked to him. But if we go and try to go for Modric, go to Chelsea and start buying their scraps again, I don't want that. Personally, keep the hell away from Chelsea. No, stop this stuff about twerking for Madueke, twerking for Modric, twerking for Raheem Sterling. Like, we don't want these players at our club. What we need is difference makers, somebody who's already been producing at an adequate level that can come into this team and improve us.
Bro, close the door.
Stop
You
looking
mean like Kai Havertz? You mean like Kai Havertz?
No, the thing about Kai Havertz is, I think Arteta's seen that his potential. Where some of these other players, like Madueke, the guy has less career goals before he came to thing than Eddie Nketiah. Like, what are we doing here?
Listen, if we go for a Chelsea reject again, I'm gonna lose my head. I don't
Well,
want
yeah,
any more.
I don't want none of that.
I was
I'm
talking about
done with
last
that.
week. It's a difficult transfer market though, because like I know fans are clamoring for this attack, but like it's hard out here, man. Like the right type of profile of player we need, they're either unavailable, or like they don't want to come. I mean, Egal mentioned Nico Williams, but like I'm sure even if we did go in for a bid for him, he wants to stay in Spain. He wants to go to Barcelona. And then you're thinking strikers. We did try for Benjamin Šeško. He rejected us. He chose to stay at Leipzig. You know, of course, Gyökeres is there. It's slim pickings. That's all I'm saying.
I think we are 100%.
Not too many strikers.
Do you
What's
know what
that,
it
Gal?
is though, bro? I just be honest, yeah. Like, if you're a club and you're on the brinks of a title, you go and take a risk. You look at
100%.
Ivan Toney and you take a risk and say, "What? Okay,
Yeah, I
50
would do
million.
But then
Go
you
and
become
do that
going to.
Premier League proven." Yeah, the guy scores goals in the Premier League. Put him into an Arsenal team where chances are at abundance. He's gonna get you the goals, man. So
But
this is
Premier-
what frustrates me, bro. This is what
But
actually
Liverpool
frustrates
took
me.
we seen it before
But they're not
already.
going to.
Liverpool took a risk. They got Nunes and he stunk it up for them, ruined their
Now that's
title.
different. Nunes is different to Tony.
Mm.
Us buying Tony is like what Man United did
And
when
the
they had
difference
Tevez,
is,
Rooney, and Ronaldo, and then they went out and bought
but
Berbatov.
the difference is, yeah, Egal, yeah, when you buy a player from out of the Premier League, it's a well bigger risk than when it is from the Premier League, because when you got Premier League experience under your belt and you can see that this player could score 20 goals in this league in not one of the best teams in the league, it gives you hope to think, you know what, when he comes into this Arsenal team, if we can make Havertz score goals, fuck me, or this guy's gonna be winning Golden Boot, you know what I mean? So
Everyone
it gives you
here.
that hope.
How about this? If we can just get what is it? We're in 2024,
No, I see.
2025, right? If we can get 2022, 2023 Martinelli back, if we can get that guy back, if we can get Partey play 20 games, starter, rotation, whatever you want to do, if we can get those two guys at the best of the best, that massively improves us. Because last season they weren't available much. They weren't playing at their best level.
It's a massive
So,
if, Gal.
Yeah,
Those are
massive
good
risk
players.
as well, innit?
I'm just saying, we're talking about all these other external solutions. There's potential internal solutions also to make us better.
Again, I'm
That's what I'm
confident.
saying.
I think thing is what you're saying. I'm confident that that's actually going to be the case. We are going to because we won't get the strike, in my opinion. So I think the things that you mentioned, like getting more out of the players we've got, like Partey, and getting more out of Martinelli, I think that's going to be if that's it, it's got to be it. And I think that's what we're going to do anyway. Because
can I just say something? Sorry, Kenny Ken, to jump in. Egal, before, yeah, obviously you said that if we don't get a striker or a forward, should I say, you think we'll fall short. So clearly, going off that analogy, yeah,
we're going to be short from the window, not fall short. I still
All
believe
right,
we're going to
okay.
win.
But if we're going to be
nobody else right now
Right,
besides Mika
say
Merino.
no more. I thought you was talking about, because I was going to say if that was the case, then it makes no sense, because going off that logic, then obviously even if they were better, we're still short in it. You know what I mean? We're up against City. It's
But
not
you
like
know
we're up
something?
against a team that's perfect. That's
Havertz-
not perfect
one second.
Havertz scores
Man
more
City are
goals.
short a player. We don't talk about that. There's a lot.
Yeah,
of
I
teams-
agree, but they've got the trophies on the board, in it. That's the
I
difference.
know, but you don't need every position to have 2 players to win the league. You just need to get the best out of what you have.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I think it's clear and obvious that we need a striker. And I think if you understand football and you know football, you can look at that Arsenal team. And yeah, we might have scored so many goals. Yeah, other players do pitch in. But having a proper focal point, it gives us the ability to change the play whilst we're there. You know what I mean? Other than Havertz, there's nobody that can hold up the ball for us and do that or get the ball. We can whip crosses in. We got wingers, yeah. What's the point in wingers if you're not going to whip a crossing? Do you know what I mean? So,
And you know what I think is stopping that? Guys, we find ourselves in a situation where I don't think the club is going to sign a striker and spend that big outlet unless a major exit happens. And that only major exit I can see happening is Jesus. Hence why.
Do you think it's enough?
Yeah, I
though,
don't.
do you think it's enough for us to go right? Last summer we went and got Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Julian Timber, and David Raya. We spent about 200 million, whatever the hell it was, right? This summer so far we're going to be spending about 65 million pounds. Do you think that's enough to go for a title with Merino and Calafiori? I don't think so.
We're not that far off.
And we've sold Emil Smith Rowe. We're likely going to sell
Exactly.
Eddie. We're likely going to sell Reece. If we can get rid of these players, why can't we go? And
I think we're going to, man. I think we're going to go for an attacker. I really do. Let me just bring the super chat up, then I'll go for the last couple of questions before we do come to a close. Brian says, if I think he means Havertz, if Havertz does the business and scores 20 goals with 30 GA, will everyone still say that we need a striker? Let me answer that, because a lot of people are saying we don't need this because we've got 91 goals and we can get 20 goals. And big up to Brian for the super chat. Robbie said this the other day. He thinks Kai Havertz can get 20 goals, right? I hope he does. I hope he gets 30.
Yeah, I hope he does as well.
Yeah?
But he could also get injured as well, Dan.
Yeah, precisely.
No. One thing about Kai Havertz, he has a good injury record.
Yeah, no, he is very durable.
He's actually pretty
So did Eduardo before he came to us.
Yeah,
that he should have got arrested for that tackle.
Short crosses.
Let me tell you why I thought we need a killer still, right? Because for me, I personally feel like last season there was a number of games where we absolutely were crying out for a number 9. And this was when Kai Havertz was playing there as well, right? And around Christmas time, when he was playing in this number 8 or what the hell you want to call it in midfield, everybody wanted Ivan Toney. Are we getting Toney in January? Are we getting Toney in January? He's coming back from his ban. We need Toney in January. We were crying out for a striker. Now, on the back of last season, Havertz did really well in the 9, I thought. In the 17 games he played there, I think he got 9 goals and like 8 assists or something crazy like that. So he got a phenomenal amount of GA. That doesn't mean he can't play there long term. But there are still examples where Kai Havertz has been in front of goal and he's fluffed his lines. And I saw at the weekend against Wolves that he gets the ball and he skies it wide. All he's got to do is hit the top bins with his right foot and he puts it wide. And there's opportunities like that. Jesus as well, where we're not clinical enough. And I think that if you was to add
Martinelli as well. He's not being clinical enough.
Another one. I mean, he's got to sort his game out, in my opinion. Anyway, Martinelli, that's another.
He needs.
Yeah, but if there's someone better, if you think there's someone better than Kai Havertz, who's a genuine striker and you can make us better, then
we've got to go for him.
We want to play it. We've got to go for him. Yeah. Kai Havertz probably has got the potential to do that, but he hasn't done it. You know, he basically second half season he was brilliant. I was very, very impressed. I praised him a lot. You know, but let's see if we can just get a striker. Yes, we're going to.
When is he going to buy one, Kenny? Because he's never bought one, bro.
Guys, we have too many players. We have too many.
We may have too many players, but we're getting rid of We'll hopefully get rid of Eddie. We're going to get rid of Reece. We're going to clear the decks so we can get that striker. We don't necessarily have to sell Jesus, although I think that will bring in some big bucks from.
By the way,
I don't think we got too many players.
I don't think we got too many players.
No way.
When you look at midfield, if Odegaard gets injured, who's coming in for him?
Yeah, exactly. 1 year.
I'm not looking at it from the perspective of adequate quality. I'm looking at the players. Guys, we still have guys like Kieran Tierney at the club. Like I'm talking.
And you know what? For me, fit, I'd play him.
Over who? Calafiori?
I'd play him over Zinchenko. Well, you played last game. It was Zinchenko, innit? So if Tierney was fit and Zinchenko was fit, I'd play Tierney. over
Mm.
Zinchenko. So
Yeah,
I'm just going on to what you're saying, what
Fair
we got.
play.
Like
No,
you're
but
picking out
clearly
KT.
doesn't-
I don't think it's fair, innit?
KT doesn't
Because he's
clearly
better
fit
than Zinchenko.
Arteta's. KT clearly doesn't fit Arteta's way of play.
Yeah.
So-
I have to agree with you. I have to agree
Well,
with
I
you.
agree, but I'm
Agree
saying
with
personally, in my opinion, I think he's better in it. So, like, if I had my choice, I would play Kieran Tierney. I think
He's
defensively,
better
he's so much
defensively,
more
100%.
sound,
Yeah,
so
he
much
is
more
better.
sound.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Definitely,
but that's the
man.
thing.
Zinchenko's still going to play a lot though this
That's
season.
the
as well.
Obviously,
What-
Kieran Tierney is not going to play for our club anymore. We all know that. But what I'm saying is, when we say we got too many players, I don't think we have. And then picking out Kieran Tierney, yeah, like Nketiah and
Nelson.
Reece and all that, yeah, fair enough. But I don't know, man. Other than that, I'd
think
get rid
the
of
Odegaard
Vieira as
ones
well,
were-
me.
The
I'd get
Odegaard
rid of Vieira.
Odegaard one's a really good question because Vieira I don't rate, and Ethan Wanyeri's a kid, and that's it. That's all we got.
But I do think that if we give Ethan game time, he's gonna pop.
I love him. I think he
I
looks
would rather
quality,
him-
but it's a
I'd
lot of
rather
pressure
him
tossing,
get-
isn't it?
It's a lot of pressure, but I think he can handle
Look,
it.
if you're good enough, you're ready. You're good.
I'd
That's
rather
mate, you're
him
ready. You're
every
good
time.
enough.
I don't
Yeah.
think we can expect him to play like Premier League games or
No,
Champions
why
League games.
not? I can, because Vieira's
From
not
the
doing
beginning?
anything. What's he doing? He's just collecting injuries.
You know what,
Nah.
though? I am excited to see what Timber gives us
I
this
want to see
year, though.
Nwaneri
Oh yeah,
play.
He
Timber
looked
was
good when he came on, innit?
yeah. he
But
did.
what position when you play Timber?
Fancy
Because
forward.
Timber's best position is.
Timber could play both.
Yeah,
right?
I know he's played both, but you know, I think he will play his best football where Benjamin White plays. I'm not saying that he should replace
Yeah,
Benjamin
same
White.
here.
I think they
Same
should
here.
play for their place. You know, not
Yeah,
back.
I like that.
Hey, change the shirt.
I want that because we forget prior to towards the end of last year, Ben White was playing dog poo for several games. He may have had some sort of
No, he was on
injury.
yeah.
He wasn't.
I
good.
think
he dropped
Yeah,
off, and he was clearly exhausted.
After the
Right.
international break, though, he turned it back up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like in those
Dubai,
moments,
wasn't
that's where you need. That's where you need like Dubai. That's where you need like a Timber. I actually think it's good. Someone like Timber coming back and fighting for that right back spot. I think defense will fine. We're talking
I was gonna call you Toby then. Sorry, bro. I said my bad. Is it tossing in it?
Yeah.
Do you not think that Calafiori? I know this might be a bit premature because obviously we've only seen him in a little bit of pre-season because I haven't really watched a lot of Calafiori. But from what I've seen of him, I don't think his style of play at left back is going to survive in the Premier League. He doesn't look nowhere near quick enough to recover that run. So, for example, if he bursts forward and he ends up losing the ball or doesn't make that tackle, he ain't fast enough to recover. Obviously, regarding the system, it might be he drop into midfield and we sweep along. But I think Timber in that left back position, I think he's probably our best fit.
Well, let me segue into this nicely to close, right? Because I wanted to talk about what your team would be for this weekend. So, Tosin, I'll start with you so you can answer that question as well, man. What are you doing here at this team news? Because at left back, I think we've got an issue with Zinchenko against Villa defensively. I really do.
Yeah, I would start Calafiori, but I don't think he's going to. I think knowing Arteta, you could already tell from the last preseason game, this is his set 11 at least for the first few games of the season. We're pretty much gonna see the same team. I can't see him playing any different. We're gonna see the same team.
I think there could be two changes. Trossard starting for Martinelli and Timber starting for Zinchenko. And for this game, you let Timber overlap and Ben White tuck in. Because who do they really have on the other side? Who do they have on that other side? Because if they're playing Leon Bailey on one side, who do they have on the other?
Jacob Ramsey probably, or Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Rogers. Yeah,
Morgan Rogers is a baller, man.
Player. He's good.
You know what? I think if we're going to try and be on the front foot, then I can see Zinchenko starting again. I really can.
Zinchenko's going to play. Let's guys, come on. Let's call a spade a spade. He's probably our worst left back defensively, but he got so much game time.
Yeah,
and he will continue to get game time because
and let's be honest, he was decent. He was actually decent.
Yeah, he was. But defensively, we just know throughout the season you can't rely on him. He's going to make mistakes, and then mistakes, you can't afford to fuck up when it comes to trying to win the league. And you need to eradicate them out of your game.
Switch away, he might be very useful. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Arteta will actually do it.
You know that Villa game. You know that Villa game on Saturday.
Yeah.
I know. Only the
Miguel,
second game.
love, man, love. I know you got to go.
You know that Villa game on Saturday. I know it's the second game of the season, but this is like a rock. This is one of the tests of because they're a good side. They played really well at the London Stadium last season. This is where we got to be at it, really at it, make a kind of a statement. That's why I think, from an attacking point of view, I do see Zinchenko playing. My thing with Timber, I don't mind him at at left back, but I do think that there's a player there at right back. I'm not saying he's better than Benjamin White, but I look at it and I think there's just something missing from the way in terms of the balance of the team. I do think that eventually this season, I think that he'll be playing there more than Benjamin White. I really do think, because I do think he's probably that. I think he's that missing. If he can keep him fit, there's
I think so as well. That was the plan last season.
This is going to sound a bit mad, but do you reckon, because obviously Ben White can play as that CDM role, obviously, before he came to us. Do you reckon there's a chance that he could ever, if Timber did step in and was better at him there, do you reckon he could ever slide in, try to do a John Stones at City?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. No, John Stones is a superior footballer to
See,
to Ben
this is me
White.
playing too much FIFA, lads. This is what happens when you play too much FIFA.
Timber is the cheat code. If we can get him fit,
good.
like he was good.
I do think that right back area, he's up for grab time.
All well. So I'm curious, and he can play in midfield. So I'm curious.
Really, nobody in our starting 11, nobody should have their place cemented. That's how it should be.
100%.
100%.
When we've got it like that,
what Ben White's got, like Ben White's been phenomenal in my opinion, and I look at that and I think Timber knocking on the door is a good thing. I actually believe we'll see more. I think we'll see more of Timber on the left. However,
same here.
It's such a shame because I think about the balance of the team, especially defensively, in terms of starting attacks. I do think that that maybe see if we can look at Calafiori and then see where we are with Ben. I do think that it's a controversial decision, but I think it'll be a brave decision where I think it'll benefit us if we do have a look at Timber, because I do think I can picture Timber at right back. I'm going to picture him defensively at right back as well. When a pacey.
He's good at his last ditch tackling as well.
Left winger goes in. I kind of trust Timber more than Benjamin White. And even on the ball, I trust Timber more than Benjamin White. But again, that I think that's going to be a discussion we're going to have this season. And because I do see him getting a few games at right back.
I think the right hand side, I don't think they'll break that up. White, Saliba, Saka, Ødegaard. I think it's so set in stone. The left hand side, with the signing of Merino and Calafiori, I expected it to be Gabriel and Calafiori, and then obviously Declan Rice and Merino, and then Martinelli or Trossard. That's what I expected it to be. Now, it might be that Calafiori and Timber, they fight that left-back position out. My biggest frustration at the moment, although he's played well over the last few games, because we haven't had to defend yet, Zinchenko has played ahead of Calafiori and Timber, which is frustrating to me, because I didn't want to see Zinchenko on the pitch, if I'm honest. Defensively, I think he's a shambles.
It's just about chemistry, to be honest. I think because the left side is a mess. There's no chemistry there. I mean, Xhaka was kind of like the glue that held that together. He had a good chemistry with Zinchenko that season. He had a good chemistry with Martinelli, and that's why that right side, it picks itself, because even Havertz, to an extent, he's already got a good understanding with Saka. Martinelli doesn't really have that. Zinchenko, the whole inverted left back thing. So we'll see. I think if whoever can show that they can gel well the team the most, I think Arteta will play that guy. So far, he's going with what he knows with Zinchenko. Timber's still coming back from injury, and Calafiori, new signing, not gotten any minutes yet, still working his way there. So we'll see.
Let me ask just quick. Oh, I don't know what happened there, Tosin. There, you're back now. That's right, bro. Let me just ask you, Premsy, about Martinelli to close, bro, because I'm a little bit worried about him, bro. He's one of my favourite players. Absolutely love him on the ball. I think his work rate's phenomenal. The tenacity is there. The passion and the desire has always been there, right? I always look at Martinelli come off the pitch and go, do you know what? It didn't work for you today, but you give 110%. But I'm actually starting to get a little bit worried about some of his performances individually now. I've made up some excuses for him. probably wrongly because I like him. I think Trossard and Gabriel look okay on that left-hand side, but I did make up the excuse that we've got a different left back behind him every game. Then he's got a left 8 next to him, then a different number 9 next to him. But really and truly, he's got to look at his performances and get his head up a bit when he's running because he's starting to get a little bit frustrating now, to be fair. What do you make of it? Do you think he can have a good season? Because I think it's a massive season for Martinelli, Prems. I really do.
Do you know what? He needs a good season. He has to have a good season, and hopefully he has an injury-free season as well, because he does get hampered by a few injuries, even when he is on a good run or not. But I think Tosin said it pretty much correctly as well regarding the left side. There isn't that much chemistry down there. It does have a play, like you said, Dan, but we got to be ruthless as a club, innit? Man City are ruthless, and the bottom line is, it really and truly, Trossard, for me, is a better player than Martinelli. I love Martinelli, but he came to the club. I backed him to the hills. I want him to succeed, and I want him to have the best season this season. But Trossard technically is a much better footballer. Left foot, right foot, better at set pieces, nimble on the ball, gets into the spaces, tight areas, can shoot both feet as well, integrates with other players much better as well. And he's a little bit older as well, where he's got a bit more experience, head on his shoulders. So that would help. Martinelli could come on, I'd say, 20 minutes to go when we're either chasing a game and we need to inject some pace into it. But there's a lot of promise with him, but we have to be ruthless. If he doesn't cut it this season, we need to bring somebody else in.
It's brutal, it's ruthless, but you're right. I mean, Trossard,
I think so.
right, I think he's been brilliant.
I fully agree. Fully agree with what Premsy said.
Yeah, but it's a shame.
I've been a Martinelli critic since halfway through last season.
Yeah,
and
I remember you saying
that coincided with Trossard, cementing his place. I think with Trossard, the reason why sometimes it's neck and neck, because there was periods last season when Trossard started games and he dropped the ball. In terms of his performance, and there were times when he was even substituted at half time.
Yeah,
but I think in the second half of the season, where he came on from the bench and then he started starting games, he was sublime. He was absolutely brilliant. And I think the reason why you're always going to have that kind of debate over Martinelli and Trossard is that Trossard hasn't got Martinelli's pace. I think Martinelli's pace is the equaliser. If Trossard had Martinelli's pace, as well as all that, it's game over for Martinelli. We're talking about Martinelli being able to ship out because he's not the right style of player. And I think if you look at since January 2023, the fact I was worried when he was really going after Mudryk. Now Mudryk didn't turn out to be the player we thought he would be at Chelsea, but maybe at Arsenal we'd been a better player. But there was concerns that maybe the manager is looking at them, the left-hand side, looking at Martinelli and think, I need a bit more here, mate. I need a bit more, because by spending all that money on we were going to spend on Mudryk, that's not a player that's going to be a backup for Martinelli. That's a player that's going to take his place, surely. And then he's buying Trossard, who we thought is a backup, but towards the end of last season, he was taking his place. So there's genuine concerns from the manager about Martinelli and whether he's going to let him to play he wanted to.
I actually thought, because 2 seasons ago, when he actually had a good season, I remember for a while, there were certain periods where even though he'd start out on the left and Trossard would play as the false 9, you'd see them swap positions, and Martinelli took up more of a central role, and he was actually getting good. He was actually getting goals. Right? I even remember a game. I think it was Leicester we played when we won 1-0 away, and the guy
I remember that.
It's like
me and you at that game, weren't we?
Yeah,
really good movement from him, and he strokes it into the back of the net on restyle. And then Arteta spoke after the match about how, like Martinelli is someone that's most likely going to end up being a striker, but I've not seen that trend. I've not seen that progression happen, and I think that's kind of hampered Martinelli, because you look at him. I don't think he's a winger, because when I think of wingers, I think Saka. I think Nico Williams, a winger. You can take him on the inside and on the outside. Martinelli's just got one move: get the ball, get it to the byline, try and outpace the guy, run past him. But bro, you need more than that to be a winger. You need a skill set. You need to be able to move people out of position. But I don't really see him doing that a lot. So I just wonder. I want to see a plan for him, like a development plan, not just in terms of improving his game, but like positionally, like where is he going to play? Are you grooming him to be the
He's trying on the
forwards?
right as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so it's
He's
just
back
weird.
up and trying right. And
He's been playing he's been coming onto the right. Listen, when he come on the scene, he's actually playing up top. Under Emery, he got like 10 goals that season, his first season, where he was playing League Cup games and stuff. And I always thought he's going to transition into a striker. I've never seen it. He's never trained there. I don't feel Arteta don't want him to play there, but it could be an option in the future. I just don't know. He's 22 years old. I want to see more of him this season on the left. I think we can still see a baller. We've got 15 goals the season before last. If he can't get it, fair play. We can have that conversation. I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. That's all I will say. So
yeah,
we'll
not ready to give up on him, Dan. But I think there's a lot of sense what Tosin said about moving him up forward. And I think if we did to move to a club, you probably would see that transition, because if you see the way he plays, he likes to run off the shoulder of the defender. He's quick. He can get that ball in behind, and he's okay in front of goal. I wouldn't say I'd probably say he's about a 6.5, 7 out of 10 in it, finishing in it, but he's not the worst in the world. But he's got all, and he's good in the air as well. People forget that he gets his head on the ball quite a lot.
Yeah.
So,
or that, or of course, have more faith in him. But like, I want to see guys coaching. Like he's been doing the same thing for 2 seasons. It doesn't seem like anyone's sending him to actually teaching him how to work on your game.
And keep his head up as well, Tosin.
Right.
He's got to keep his head up, man.
He runs too much, man. He's wild.
Yeah, he
runs
is
to the
wild.
byline, man, and he fucking overruns the ball a lot as well, man. Like he's got a lot of good.
I think his coach has been trying to work on that, and then it's that maybe the coach is thinking, right, I'll run out a bit of patience here. I ain't got time to develop this lad's game. I'm under pressure here now because I'm in the Champions chance. I need to deliver this season. I haven't got time for that. I might have to get someone else in that position, because when I look at Martinelli, there's times when I think, well, he's still that player that scored that brilliant goal against Chelsea away. But
yeah, he is.
But is there any other depth to his game? And I have to say no.
Yeah. Listen, it's harsh because he's such a
he does defensively get back and put his work in. I give him that.
That's probably why he gets the nod as well, because he's got
pace in it.
He leaves everything on the pitch, like, and he's really good for the fullback that he's playing in front of. But I just want to see a bit more. I want to see more coaching of him, helping him.
I'd like to see a lot more Trossard this season as well. And you know what else is mind blowing as well? Not this preseason, last preseason, Trossard was playing in the middle, and with Rice and Odegaard, and it works so well. And you know what? We've never seen it again since, innit? And I always wonder that, because you remember the time when we had Santi Cazorla, and I loved Santi. Like the way the ball would just stick to his feet like glue. And Trossard very much reminds me of him. He's not the same player, but he gives me Santi vibes. And I think he could do well for us if he's integrated into the team more. And I don't think he's valued enough. Like from the fan,
You know what's mad, Prems, right? I said this the season before last, where we went for the title that no one expected us to get. Trossard was playing in the false 9. He got 3 assists in the first half at Craven Cottage. He was absolutely balling out. He got Player of the Month in March, and he was dropped for April and May, and we never saw him again. And I was like, what? That's weird. This season just gone, we literally had, I think he played for the majority of it, getting the goals that he got. I thought it was pretty incredible for the amount of starts he actually had, because he wasn't starting. He kept coming on from the bench, and then he finally got his kind of starting probably around maybe halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through, and then there was like no dropping him. He was goal, 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 and there was that song Trossard again, because he was scoring every week. And for me, it was like, yeah, this guy needs respect, because actually at 29, is he now 28, 29? He is a top player, man. Top player and a baller. And you know, you said he reminds you of Santi Cazorla. He kind of reminds me of him, but he also reminds me of like Alexander Hleb. Do you remember when he had that quick feet?
Yes, he is Hleb. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not giving Hleb for going to Barcelona. That was the player.
Maybe I'm just going off the height, and I don't know when it, but it's just...
No, you're right. You're right.
He does. He reminds me of Santi, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine, man. Listen, to close, man, I just want to ask one question to all of you. What trophy do you think we'll win this season? I know it's a mad on-the-spot question, but I think it's worth asking, because I'm going to put it out there and say I think we're going to bring the FA Cup home again. I think it's our trophy. I think we've got to take domestic cup seriously, and I think we'll win silverware this season. I'm going to try and be positive, like Primsy said at the start of the show. So I'm going to go FA Cup, man. Kenny, let's come to you. What are you saying?
I'll take the FA Cup. I'll take the FA Cup and the League Cup, both of them. I'm greedy, I'm sorry, but I do think that these lads need a title. Just something to, because I think they're gonna get pretty close to winning the title, and I do think that in order to convince themselves, forget me, convince themselves that they're capable of, winning something, they need that. So the FA Cup I say FA Cup and League Cup. Why not?
Let's do it, man. Repeat of 93. What are you saying, Prems?
I'm saying Premier League because we need to win the Premier League, and I honestly think we can do it.
Ledge, man. Ledge. Love that optimism. What are you saying, Tosin?
I'm going Prem. I think we do it.
You're going for the Premier League?
Yeah, I think we do it. And if we get anything else, bonus.
Yeah, of course it is, man. Listen, I'll take a trophy, and I think the bare minimum expectation for me is silverware and a title challenge. That is my bare minimum expectation.
You can have both. I think we'll be part of title challenge, but we still got to go for the silver. We can't put our.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we need title challenge and silverware.
We need to have something to show for the season. I don't. 100%. It's no good playing this well and have nothing to show for it.
Yeah,
and
we got to be challenging on all fronts. I don't want to see us sacrificing cups. I want to see us challenging all fronts.
Same.
Absolutely, bro.
You asked me what
trophies. All the big clubs in Europe challenge for all the trophies.
Yeah, I think we will. I think
Arteta's learned. He's had to have learned. Like, come on, man. I don't think Arteta is a stupid man. I think he's an intelligent man, and I think he would have learned that. Look, 2 seasons are gone by now. We have to, because you can clearly see, man, we're sacrificing cups. Like, we're not daft. We're just team selection. You can see if you're sacrificing cups or not, and I seen it. You know what I mean? And fair enough. Maybe he didn't think that we had the whole squad or the depth or maybe the energy to challenge on all fronts, and really wanted that Premier League and believed in it. But now he's got to learn from his mistakes.
Yeah, facts, man. Facts. Listen, this super chat comes in last before we close from Stephen, who says, what concerns me is that Jesus gets injured. The backup for Havertz becomes Eddie, who I think will get sold, and the backup for Saka becomes Nelson. We could argue that Trossard comes in, but be short on the left. Do you know what season? Stephen, big up yourself. We are going to buy an attacker. If they go, we are going to buy an attacker. We are going to, man. We have to.
How long we got? Have we got 10 days?
Yeah, 10 days, man. 10 days. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Jeez, man.
Gonna have to, man.
Move on, man.
Gonna have to, man. 100%. Listen, we're gonna wrap up there. Absolute legends. Thank you all so much. Please make sure you do me a favor, people, and come and follow these guys on the Twitter handles. Twitter handles. I get that.
That's my Insta one. I don't have Twitter anymore.
I don't blame
you. Elon gets you.
No, just I honestly don't have the time, man. I got too much.
To be fair, I'm not even bloody. I'm not really on Twitter like that.
You know what?
I've got it, but I'm not really going on it.
I don't got it, but Elon and his little babies who think, I want my free speech. I want my free speech. I want free speech. Let me be racist and be horrible to people as long as I have my free speech. Twitter, X, what you want to call it, in the bin.
Well, mate, I'm on both of those. If you do want to come follow me, it's Dan Arthway7. Make sure you go follow Tosin.
Follow me on Instagram.
Fleet-footed on Instagram. Yes. Make sure you go follow Kenny Ken on Instagram. And make sure you go follow Premsy TV on YouTube and all social media platforms. Premsy TV. Back again, bruv, as well, doing out content. So that's great to see, man. So big up to everybody. Big up to Igal as well. If you stay tuned, you can go listen to Igal now. I'm going to redirect to him. So there's still 600 of you in here. So please make sure you go show him some love. So we'll go and have a chat with Igal. And listen, I'll be back tomorrow morning, people. Take it easy. We're out of here. Peace.
Take care.